Another bright, shiny day in the lockdown world. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been doing a number of videos about money and looking at our expenditure, our income, all the rest of it, and seeing if actually we have a gap between the two that's positive or whatever. And part of the reason for looking at those was around actually mindset. And I think mindset in all sorts of directions at the moment is absolutely key. So if you're in a lockdown situation, I have the benefit of having a garden, so I can be outside without actually going outside to the wider world. So whether it's that, whether it's keeping my mindset fresh and active by reading books and watching videos and actually building my knowledge base for my income streams, whether it's my money mindset, and I've just been reading a fantastic book about money mindset, which has made me stop and question actually where my money mindset is right now and where I want it to be in the future. So using this time when we potentially have a bit more time on our hands is a great way of actually starting to think, where do you want to be when we come out the other side? So if you're struggling with lots of credit card debts or other stuff that you're paying off, okay, so give it 6 months' time. Where do you want to be with those? Are you going to make the decision to actually stop using your credit card so much, to look at how you're spending your money? Does it really need to be in exactly that way? Maybe what have you got lying around the house that you can't be bothered with, that you've not touched for years? Could you be selling it on eBay and using that money specifically to clear debts? And I'm a great believer that for every income that we earn, a percentage should go aside to savings. A percentage should go aside to paying the bills and making sure you're there for the future. And a percentage should go into savings. And those savings can be actually in a couple of different ways. There's the savings that actually to cover you for 2, 3, 6 months worth of costs that you have to one side, which is a reserve for, if you need the rainy day fund. And then you have the savings that then you can build to a level and develop a wealth income stream. So my process since the early 2000s has been to generate multiple streams of passive income. My first wander into passive income stream was around network marketing, where I'm doing a job once and then that I get paid month in, month out for doing that job. It's based around services rather than products, which I personally love. Other people prefer product-based stuff or whatever, but mine being a service, I don't necessarily need to be chasing people for new orders every single month, and I love that. So that's been giving me a steady income stream all the time. So what have you got, in addition to your work income, what have you got that actually gives you that kind of passive income month in, month out? Is this a time to write that book you've been thinking about and self-publish? Is this time to set up a blog where you help people with the skills that you have to a certain level, but maybe when you get enough followers, you might decide, well, actually, I'm going to do a small subscription scheme of, say, £2 a month, £3 a month, and I will give extra added value in that particular group. And you record your videos so people can come on, they can watch them over and over again. So you're doing a piece of work once, but then if they're on a monthly subscription, you might be being paid on a regular basis. What are you doing with your savings? And again, I am not a financial advisor, so this is my personal perspective. When I go to put a lump aside tax-free for an ISA, for example, I am checking what each of the banks are giving and what their track record has been before I commit my money to it. So I don't automatically just go to my bank. I have a buy-to-let portfolio, which I've built over the last few years, almost 10 years now actually. And I've had that because I've invested time and energy in learning the top ways of doing that to minimize my risk. And there is always risk, as with everything, but by doing that, I made a big difference. So I've got my buy-to-let portfolio and I'm, touch wood, I'm in a position where all my tenants are good, they're in a safe position, they're still getting income, so therefore I'm still getting my rent. Then I've looked at some of the pensions that I had from time gone by, and I pulled 3 little ones together into a thing called a SIP, a self-invested pension, SIP. Anyway, sorry, got my head mixed up there. Because I got one of those letters that said I would get £100 a month from one of the pensions. Except for when I reread it, it wasn't £100 a month, it was £100 a year. Now, it had grown by a couple of percentage in the last year, which was lovely, it had grown. But actually, I made a decision that, do you know what? If I took this and worked on investments myself to see how I wanted to invest it, to see if I could grow the pot faster, then I would be getting a bigger percentage growth. I'm still paying costs and I'm doing a ton of stuff that I enjoy. But I set up my SIP specifically to pull those across, and actually, even with the drop in the stock market in the last few weeks, I am still now 4 years on and double the amount of money that I originally put in. So, but a profit is never a profit until you crystallise it, till you sell and all the rest of it. I've still got time to move it on again. My ambition is to double it again so that when I take out my 25% free, then that is actually the equivalent to the original amount I put in. But I did that because I was prepared to take a risk that not many others will. Because I was prepared to say, okay, if £100 a year in that pension was going to make that big a difference to me, then actually I'm in trouble. If £100 a year, less than £10 a month, is a different thing to me, that's horrendous. So in years to come, assuming I just keep learning and watching and trying and tested, and I have to say I have some absolute howlers of shares in there, the famous being a certain M&S. I thought, early on, why not? And I put £2,000 into M&S shares, and they're probably worth about a quarter of that now. Now, I've chosen to keep them. Other financial advisors said, no, stop your losses, get rid, all the rest of it, because they might come back round. But in the meantime, I'm still getting dividends on the number of shares I had, and I'm still getting the odd offer that they send me as a shareholder. So to be honest, I'm happy to just let that sit and ride. That would not be everybody's strategy. So my message is around, how are you using your time just now? How is your mindset generally? And how is it actually towards your money? And at a time when we can make a difference to our situations, why not use this time and start checking out what you can do to actually find some pandemic-proof income for yourself for the future? Because this might not be over for quite a while, and it might be the first of several. So why don't you start thinking and taking half an hour a day, take an hour a day, and just get yourself into a sound financial position, and also work on what you're going to do for yourself and your family for the future. Any thoughts, send us a message. My email is passive@chalicepim.com, chalispim.com, or look me up Facebook, LinkedIn, phone numbers are there, just give us a buzz. I'm not a financial advisor. I have taken some of my life into my own hands with the understanding that I might lose everything, but I've done that because I want to learn and make sound financial decisions that will suit me and my family for the future.